Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? I'm curious, when you face those moments, how do you talk to yourself? What is the language you use, and how do you navigate that?
Oh my gosh, those moments totally happened for me, which is pretty crazy because I've been doing this now for 4 years and I've obviously created like incredible results. I have enough evidence to last me a lifetime. If I created nothing beyond this moment, I have enough evidence to last me a lifetime that I can have the power to create any reality I want. I can change anything I want about my life. I can achieve anything I want. But we still have that very human side. We still have like that inner child inside of us that has old fears and old programming that still crops up. So my latest example of that actually, Michael, is this past year was the first year I've paid quarterly taxes. And because I've never owed money. The government has always owed me money at tax season because that's how broke I was for 9 years in a row. And then when my business started making money, I owed like baby taxes. It was really cute. I was actually excited to pay taxes because like the first time ever, and it was such little amounts. I'm like, oh my God, look at me, I'm a big girl. And so then this past year, I was making so much money that I started paying quarterly taxes and I felt so responsible. I felt savvy. I felt successful. Like I'm an accomplished, wealthy person. Like I'm on top of it. But because of situations, things that happen, tax season comes and I'm slammed with 6 figures more in taxes. Right. And it's just like, wait, I've been paying all this money all year long. Here I'm thinking I'm going to get to the end of the year and it's nothing. I'm neutral. It's good. I can continue to make profit. And now they need 6 figures from me and it's going to wipe me on my bank account. And I'm just like, wait a second. And it triggered me enough to freak out this old programming that says, well, see, just as soon as it gets good, something shitty happens, or you can't trust that the good will always last. Good never lasts. And little Nikole is like freaking out and is like, would it be better to make a little less money so I don't get slammed with these big taxes? That was a
Yeah.
very real thought that went through my head. And I
So
cried. Yes, especially when you know you're meant for greatness. And it's like, well, and you have the old tapes of like, don't be ungrateful from family or like, don't be greedy. It's like, well, maybe this is good enough. Maybe this level is where I should stop because if I'm already scared of what I'm getting slammed with now, what on earth is going to happen when I'm making multi millions? Like, and I had to do a lot of internal work and like journaling and get support from my coaching and leaning into my foundation and my identity as someone who has wealth beyond imagination, wealth beyond reason, more money than she knows to do with. And I realized, no, this is not where I'm meant to stop. I've only barely started. And so I leaned in and decided I'm going to keep leveling up. I can manage this big surprise of taxes. And I'm going to just generate more and more money. But it brought up so much fear that it was a hiccup for a good couple of weeks where I was like pretty freaked out, probably a month of freaking out, which is not typical for Nikole. I freak out and I get back into my power really fast. This was big enough and unexpected enough that it threw me off for a while and I got scared of like, am I going to go back now or am I going to lean in? And I chose to lean in. I think that's what the really successful do. When it's easy, it's easy. When it's hard, who are you in that moment? Are you actually little Nikole where you think like you're getting away with being successful, but it's actually all a fluke? Or are you actually this massively successful, wealthy person on the inside who knows more is even more in store for her? And so you're gonna lean in and keep fucking going. And I decided to keep fucking going.
yeah, that's beautiful, and that's the testament, right? And for me, I can tell you, like, I probably could not say that I have a similar moment or experience or outcomes without the coaching and the therapy and the journaling and the meditation and just reinstilling a new program. Like I believe we live in the matrix, probably not actually, but you know, how would you know? And I always think about this idea, like you have the power to really bend the world to you, right? There's a scene at the end where the agents are shooting Neo against the wall. It's one of the last scenes of the film, and he's dead for a split second. And then what happens is he actually believes that he's the one, and he stands up and he pulls the bullets out of himself, and then they shoot him again, and he pauses them in midair, and he looks at him and drops them, and he goes, "Wait, I control this." And that's life. Like that truly is life. And as you were speaking, I had two thoughts. One, I remember the moments, especially in my early 20s, where before I was working for the Fortune 10 company and making real money, where I'd be like, God, I can't wait till tax time. I need that $1,800 more than I need
Yes.
fucking air.
Yeah.
And realizing how limited that is. So that's one. And I'm really glad I don't think that way anymore. And I wish more people wouldn't. I understand the struggle. I've been there. I was homeless as a fucking kid. So like I get it. But two, Grant Cardone told me something after he invested in Think Unbroken and became a business partner. He said, "You're thinking too small." And
Mm,
as you were talking, the thing I was thinking, Nikole, was like, you should be worried about getting $10 million in taxes due, not six
yep.
figures.
Yes.
And to me, that's not about fame and celebrity and riches, but it's like, are you going as big as you can? Are you
Yeah.
really fucking showing up as hard as you can, as living the
Mhm.
life as much as you can? But it's that reprogramming process and the belief of self that ultimately leads to that place where you can have that. Because like I don't have $100 million, but it's like on the docket. Why? Because if you make more, you can give more. And if you
That
give
was
more, you can create
100%.
change in the world. And ultimately, entrepreneurs are the people who are going to change the world. These
Mhm.
corporations don't give a fuck about you. The government doesn't give a fuck about you. Your job does not care. I promise if you get fired, they will replace you so fast. It will make your head spin. And I look, again, entrepreneurship's not for everyone. I think entrepreneurship is really beautiful. Becoming a leader in a corporation for something you believe in is incredible. Many, many friends who are on that path. But I think for some people, if you're in this place in life where you're like, I believe that I am supposed to do this thing, and the job, the career, the boyfriend, girlfriend, the situation you're in, the city, the car, you like, all the things in your life are stopping you. Like, I really think you need to ask yourself some hard questions, which then leads to my next question. As you've progressed, like I'm gonna rewind this. You're in this, you're looking at life, fucking food stamps came in, you're in the grocery store. I know the power of how uncomfortable, and I won't put the word
Mhm.
embarrassing in your mouth, but for me it was embarrassing to have to go and do that, and then have this, for lack of a better term in context of the conversation, coming to Jesus moment and asking myself a really hard question.
Mhm.
And so what I'm curious about in that moment, like that split second before the shift, what was the question that you were asking yourself?
Oh, yeah, I think it was, "Is this it? Is this it? Is this all life has to offer me? This is all I'm capable of becoming?" And you're right, I was very embarrassed by my food stamps because I had a couple different food stamps, and one of them were vouchers, and you were only allowed to buy specific brands of specific measurements and specific sizes for you to check out. So I do my best. So it takes 3 times as long to pick out your groceries, and then you get to check out and be like, "Oh, this is the wrong brand or the wrong size or the wrong weight. Go back." And so and everyone in line behind you sees your white vouchers. So everyone knows you're on food stamps, and then everyone's waiting. The line would always get so clogged behind me because I'm running back and forth. I accidentally grabbed 5 bananas. You're only allowed 4 bananas. It was so demoralizing. And I'd finished this. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And the turning point, I mean, there's many different turning points, but one of the turning points for me is for when I was on food stamps for 9 years, for the last 5 of those years, we were working harder and longer hours and making less money. Like, you couldn't make that up. I'm like, "Is this a sick joke? Is this the fucking Matrix? Like, how can I be working harder and longer and making less money?" And so that's when I realized there's got to be more to money than just physical dollar bills. There's got to be more to money than what Dave Ramsey is teaching. And that's when I learned about, like, the energetic side of money. And that's when I started studying the inner world versus the outer world and your mind versus matter. And like, as I dove into wealth energetics, which is actually a program I'm starting next week because it changed my life, it was everything shifted. And I realized I was looking at money completely wrong. My mindset was completely off. And I realized it was my mindset, my beliefs that was creating my reality, which means I can change my mindset and my beliefs to change my reality. And that was a turning point. Like, this has got to be a joke. There's got to be a better way. And I found a better way.